Welcome back to Practice, Practice, Practice. I am Nick, your host of Nick Liebman Music, and I'm so glad you're here to practice with me today. It's going to be a short one for you today. I hope that's okay. But first, of course, whether it's long or whether it's short, we always want to start out by doing some wrist exercises here just to warm things up. Push them one way, push them the other. You want to listen to your body here. You don't want to push it farther than you want to go. You don't want to be really in any discomfort. You can feel some tightness, but if you're starting to feel pain, you're on the wrong track. Listen to your body on this one. Okay? So there we go. Let's tune. Some E. Let's see how we're doing. I was playing a second ago, so I think I'm actually in pretty good shape tune-wise, but it's always important to check. Beautiful. Dead center, down the row. We got E. A. D. G. B. And E. So, you guys, here we are again, another day of practice. I hope that this is helping you. I hope that it's also maybe helping to motivate you, even if you only practice for 10 or 15 minutes. Doing it on a regular basis will yield you results in the long run. So, kudos to you for being here. Today, I just want to talk a little bit, like I said, it's going to be a short one. I just want to talk a little bit about slides, sliding around. Now, I think, do I have somewhere? I didn't prepare. I have here somewhere in a guitar case under a bed somewhere, I believe, an actual slide, a metal slide, which is a tool, an accessory to an instrument people use often. They put it on their pinky, and when metal makes contact with these metal strings, you no longer need to actually press down with a fret to make the pitch. That contact with the metal itself is making the pitch. So all of a sudden, you can have, you know, how this is like stepped with half steps because of the frets. You just have a clean and smooth slide in between things. So that's not what I'm talking about today, although there's all sorts of really cool stuff you can do with a slide. No, I'm just talking about using your hand on the fretboard, sliding around. This is super useful for soloing and things like that. It's just a little flourish that adds so much more. So I'll give you for instance, I think yesterday we talked about blue scale, right? So we know, we looked at it down there. If we took the blue scale up here, up at the 12th fret, that's just the E minor blue scale, but I'm playing it up on the 12th fret, right? Right? So this was a little lick that I learned at summer camp, and it starts with a huge slide. That's what it is. So you're sliding up to the 14th fret on the A string, which sounds a B natural. It's a little tough, right? You want to, this sort of thing, the more you practice it, the easier it will be. Your hand will just, your muscle memory will know exactly how far it is and where the frets are, but when you're starting out, that's not the case. So it takes practice, and that's okay. Right? Even, right? Right? I'm still, there we go. And all I can say as far as the way to get good at this, or a method for practicing it, is I look with my eyes where I want my finger to go. I'm not looking at where I'm starting. I'm not following my finger up. I'm looking at the destination. And hopefully that's going to be what trains your hand to stop there, right? So it takes practice. Be kind to yourself. You're going to be all over the place. Guess what? It's okay. It doesn't matter. That's why they invented jazz. So it's much harder when I'm looking up at the screen, up at the camera at you than when I'm... Right, so this is how this whole thing starts out. So without the slide, this riff is... That's all it is. So it's a... We're playing a B, that's the 14th fret on the A string. We're going to hammer on from 12 to 14 on the D string. And then we're going to double stop the G and the B string on 12 and kind of bend them. And land back on 14 on D. Okay, I hope that makes sense. And the whole thing's kicked off by this massive slide. Whoa, right? And that just pushes some momentum into the rest of the riff. Right, so this can be the start, and it can also be a little motive that you use again and again in the solo, right? It can be the beginning of each new little riff so that it begins the same but ends with variety. These are the things that help you become a better soloist, a better improviser, right? You want to get those little nuggets, but in this slide, it's so important. Right, so you can do all sorts of stuff with it. That's sliding for a solo. Something else I really love, I've spent a lot of my music career being a rhythm guitarist and a vocalist, right? So I'm not often responsible for all those flashy solos, although I do them now and again. But I do need to have striking and solid guitarmanship, right? Getting those chords out, the rhythm guitar roll, and things that you can do to add to your musicianship to help your rhythm guitar playing stand out is to add those slides not just for a pitch but for a whole chord, right? So like how about that, right? Sliding up to that E minor bar chord. So it's just a little you don't want to do it too much. A, it can wear on the ears, especially with chords. B, it's going to tear your fingers apart the more you do it. So you want to be pretty judicious. If you have an entire song to play 3 or 4 straight minutes and you're running your entire index finger up and down, this often is not where the bulk of our calluses form. They form on the pads of the finger, right on the tips of the fingers and the pads of the fingers. So this can get pretty painful, but a well-placed one, especially when you're moving from a verse to a chorus, or when you're moving from playing, so for instance, you could play, what I was just playing here is E minor and B minor 7, right? But I could also play those. So like, let's say the first half of a verse I'm playing it low, and then there's maybe the vocals pick up, or maybe there's some kind of energy change and I want it to be a little more impressive. And then I can just slide on up to the higher position to play the same chords, and it just adds a little something. Why do I bring all this up? Why? Because it's a part of the song I want to play today. This is a tune from the musical Bugsy Malone. Anybody? No? Okay, this was a film that came out in the 1980s. It was starring child actors, but set in Prohibition era, and everyone acting like an adult, except that they didn't have alcoholic drinks. They drank like some kind of weird fruit juice. They didn't have Tommy guns and firebombs. They had pies and guns that shot pies, and they had cars, but they didn't have motors in them. They had bicycle pedals. So, okay, weird thing, something I grew up with. But there's this beautiful scene. There's this kid who's sweeping up at the club, big club that it's the main place of what's going on, the little speakeasy kind of place. And he's he's always sweeping up, but he's a dancer. In his heart, he's a dancer. He wants to dance, and he keeps asking for a chance. Can I get a chance to audition? Can I get a chance to play? And every day they're like, yeah, tomorrow. Don't worry, tomorrow. And this is the song he sings. tomorrow never comes. What kind of a fool do they take me for? Tomorrow, a resting place for bums, a trap set in the slums, but I know the score. Won't take no for an answer. I was born to be a dancer now. Yeah. Tomorrow, as they say, another working day and another chore. Tomorrow, an awful price to pay. I gave up yesterday, but they still want more. Take no for an answer. I was born to be a dancer now. When you feel the sure to let the people know and let your love be done till your love becomes a love shout. When you feel sure to let the people know, let your laughter loose until your love becomes a love shout. Tomorrow's far away. Tomorrow, as they say, is reserved for dreams. Tomorrow's looking gray. A playground always locked, and trains no winning teams. Oh, won't take no for an answer. I was born to be a dancer now. Anyone who feels the rhythm moving through him knows it's gonna do him good to let the music burst out. When you feel the sure to let the people know, let your laughter loose until your love becomes a love shout. Thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Try that out. Slide around. Work on that muscle memory. Become fully in control of your left hand, wrist, and forearm. And you will be rewarded, ladies and gentlemen, with better soloing, better rhythm guitarmanship, and better musicianship all around. Okay, don't forget to check out more episodes of Practice. Come practice with me. Check out the PPP cover song playlist where you can hear all the original recordings and other covers of the songs we cover here on Practice. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to Nick Liebman Music for more episodes, more practice, more music, more everything. So, with that said, I will see you tomorrow.